This is a charity interview.
People like, oh, it would be so hard to undo all the corruption that exists within the system. No, it's actually relatively easy.
Oh, I need to hear this. How?
It's not America first to set the conditions that will later harm America.
Yeah. Just creating new terrorists for the future.
I think that's right. And look, I mean, anybody who is honest and looks at what's happening in Gaza right now has got to be absolutely sickened by it.
That's where the hollow earth theory starts coming in. But
now we have another,
just provide the other
but
end
that
of that.
hollow earth is they're
hollow
saying
flat earth.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Nation was founded by men of many nations and backgrounds.
Have you ever read about the reasons they attacked us? They attack us because we've been over there.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have a liftoff.
Good evening, Doom Nation, and welcome to a very sad and upsetting emergency podcast that just cannot go unspoken about. Things have changed. We are joined tonight by our good OG friend, Chris. What's up, baby? How you doing?
What's going on, gentlemen? Thank you for having me.
Of course. And as always, it's Skaggs and yours truly, the captain. Skaggs, why don't you jump us off on this somber episode of the Two Doom Men podcast?
Yeah, I hate doing things like this, right? Didn't even want to record yesterday. I felt like it was kind of wrong to just be like, let's all jump on a podcast. And, you know, the guy's, blood hasn't even dried yet where it's at. But obviously we want to talk about what happened with Charlie Kirk yesterday, him being assassinated and killed. It's a huge kind of political moment, at least. I think we're going to find out, how huge. Kind of ironic somewhat that it's September 11th today as well. I don't think it's going to be on. I don't think it's to the level of that. It's not what I'm trying to say or anything like that. But yeah, it definitely is a huge moment. It was really gut wrenching yesterday, dude. I don't know. My first kind of thought when I saw it was, fuck, man. I know that guy has two little kids that are like my kid's age. And I was assuming that they were there, and they definitely were there, and they kind of saw this whole thing happen. So I was pretty fucked up by that for a while. Really just awful. I don't know. It's hard to even like figure out where to start with something like this, but we'll talk about it all. We'll give our thoughts. Maybe I could try and give a little bit of like some news update stuff. They actually, Turning Point USA did post something earlier today. I could share that in a little bit here. I'll let you guys kind of, say something as well.
Yeah, this between this and, watching Charlie get assassinated and watching that poor girl get stabbed to death on the train in North Carolina, things need to change. I think things are changing. We, for a couple of right-wing extremists that we aren't, we clearly are not extreme enough. We're not, because to a certain level, Skaggs and I pride our show on, we're willing to talk to anyone about anything, and we're not going to turn away anyone, really. And, whether we wake somebody up, we learn something new, or we just get a different perspective, we're here for it. In the same breath, in the same case, Charlie Kirk was doing that. He was going from college campus to college campus, talking to people, willing to talk to people who disagreed with him, just like Skaggs and I are. Sorry to leave you out, Chris, but
Charlie did it at the most extreme level of success, however.
Yeah, right.
Very much so unlike us.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't be any further at the bottom of the mountain compared to where Charlie Kirk is. But I think giving these people the benefit of the doubt is over. I think, hopes and prayers. I pray for Charlie's family, but I saw a meme today, and it was a cartoon, and it was the Democrat donkey making fun of a Republican praying. He goes, "Oh, where did your prayers get you? Charlie's still dead." And he turns around and says, "I'm not praying for Charlie. I'm praying for you and what's to come your way." Because I really think things are going to be changing over the next year and the political landscape. I think this experiment of just unfiltered, this failed social experiment.
Is there a parade over there? Sorry,
not me.
Oh, is that you, Chris? Is that you, Jamie, over there? I hear like
What's that?
I don't know. I hear like a parade or something is going on.
Let me hold on. Yeah, I hear that too. It's like a washing machine's going on in the
Yeah,
background.
it does
Right?
kind of sound like a washing machine. Yeah.
Is it your washing machine?
Is it good?
No, I don't know. It literally sounds like like a brick is in a washing machine or something like that and spinning around. Sorry, Cap, to cut you off there.
Yeah, no, I heard it too. I was just pushing through
Is it better now? Can you hear anything?
Yeah,
no, it's gone now. So what was I just saying? This failed social experiment where we allow the media to dictate, social norms. A certain type of person does something, you can't talk out about it because you're a racist. A certain group of people does something and you can't talk out about it because then you're anti-Semitic. You're a womanizer, you're a bigot. I think these days are over. We need to steamroll our way out of this ideology and this allowance. And we, not in a violent manner, in the manner that we speak here on the podcast, we need to get way more vicious. We do not shame these people enough. You understand what I'm saying? They are propagandized. They are brainwashed. And the silver lining that I've taken away from this is his message has created many more messengers. And this was the worst thing the left could have done, or whether the left did it or this other party did it, it woke more people up. You disagreed with the party of peace so much that the party of tolerance had to shoot you.
Yeah, I will say, I guess that there is just I think it's fair for us to kind of assume somewhat, to some degree, who exactly is behind this, because we don't really know for certain at the moment exactly what happened.
If I may interject, let's just be real. It's either Israel or the left. I don't care.
I'm just saying. I think it's fair to assume that's fine, but we don't know for certain. There could be way more, and maybe we'll get into that a little bit later. But we don't know, right? But I understand where you're coming from, Cap, and I understand why people on the right or conservatives feel the way they do right now. Just the way I feel. I understand why some random kid in Gaza might feel the way he does as well when his family just got blown up or something like that. Or, this is, I don't know. You guys remember how World War I started? Like Franz Ferdinand, one random guy in Sarajevo got assassinated. And before you know it, the entire fucking continent is at war and like tens of millions of people are dead. That's kind of human nature. So I get it. It doesn't mean I per se agree with it, but that's what Charlie Kirk would say, right? So, Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, so it's I want to go into the speculation of who could be, right? Like if it's, liberal or Israel. Because I talked about this with Skaggs earlier today, Cap, and you would agree with me with this, and I think everybody listening, watching is going to agree with this. It's kind of hard in this climate right now to believe anything that is being put out by the government or any media outlet, even corporate media. It's like, what is real? What is the truth? What do we know? What are the facts, right? What are they hiding? Because I just don't trust anything anymore. So it's like, what's the motive behind here? But besides the political standpoint on, liberals, conservatives and all that stuff, I'm more upset and kind of disappointed. I'm really fucking like, this hit me hard, and I don't know why it hit me harder than it should have.
Yeah.
But it hit me so fucking hard because I'm a true fucking American, right? I treat everybody, I don't care what your viewpoints, your belief system is. If you're born in the United States and you have and share the same values as me, I will fight everything tooth and nail to make sure that your rights do not get trampled on, and I treat you as a countryman or countrywoman. And with that said, I feel like yesterday was such a violation of the First Amendment, everything we hold dear to our heart. And it's just a principle thing for me. It's a human level principle, just disappointment, man, of you just murdered someone in front of thousands of people who's married with 2 kids, and they watched that. It's just that right there. Fuck the politics. That right there on a human level really just grinds my gears. And then when you know who Charlie Kirk is, and obviously we're in the space of the internet and we are very familiar with him, and there's some people who are not. There's some people who he would debate that would say like, I don't even know who you are. Or there was, I saw a couple of clips where the person's like, yeah, you say a lot of racist stuff. And he goes, so tell me what I said was racist. Let's debate about this. Let's talk about this. Not a violent man, never called for violence. He stood there and he was presenting himself as, I will debate anyone who wants to stand here, and we're going to do it respectfully. Now, do I agree with everything that he said? No, absolutely not. I can agree with some things. I could agree with different. I could agree to disagree with some of his viewpoints. But guess what? That's everybody. Everybody's like that. We are all the same. It's human nature. Right?
He didn't deserve this.
You know what, Cap? He didn't deserve this. But you know what? Nobody really fucking deserves that. In front of all those people and his kids and his fucking wife, nobody deserves that shit. And the manner he went out is just, to me, it is so fucking un-American, dude. And that's what boils my blood, is that the founding fathers did not imagine the founding fathers from north to south, slave owners, non-slave owners. They talked about that. They could have went to blows, rich, poor, tobacco owners, fucking docksmen or shipmates. You don't see them fucking killing each other. They sat down for hours. For hours, these guys sat down in a hot fucking room in Philadelphia, and they talked about what's the best way to approach things and where the fuck did we go wrong. Not saying throughout our history, our nation's history, have we, there's been assassinations, but it never goes the way people think it's fucking gonna go, right? Yeah. Because right now, I feel that this is the tipping point. This is the turning
point. Yep.
This is the ignition people need in order to get their desperation and their frustration out. Because obviously the government has failed every single person. Okay? I don't believe my government. I can't stand my fucking government right now. And the politicians who play in these fucking little, these little battles, and like they use certain words, and it's all about clickbait. It's all about engagement, going, in front of Congress and making these over the top fucking, absolutely egregious comments that they do publicly to get these viral moments, because everybody wants to be a fucking political celeb nowadays, and it all on both sides. And what do you think your words, like what do you think you're doing? You think you're gonna fucking put the flames a little bit lower? No. What do? You throw more fucking gas into the fire. And then what happens? You have people who don't think correctly. They feed into all that bullshit. They feed into the agenda. They feed into the fucking matrix. And then they go, I could be the one to stop that Nazi. That guy's not a fucking Nazi. That guy wasn't a fucking racist. If you know who Charlie Kirk was, he's not any of those fucking things. And we need to start humanizing people. Humanizing. We're so desensitized with fucking violence and murder because it's at our fucking fingertips. And it's on all spectrums. Because I could watch a kid get fucking blown up in fucking Middle East like it's fucking nothing. And that's a regular Tuesday. Right now, I'm 34 years old. What about the fucking kids in younger than us in high school watching this shit? And then they fucking grow older and they think it's fine to fucking kill somebody because they don't agree with someone. That's the fucking issue. And that's the problem. That's just the fucking problem with the United States. And then you want to blame guns, right? You want to blame guns? How about we not blaming the people who are fucking shooting these guns?
Yeah, dude, I feel your passion, bro. That's kind of like the main thing I wanted maybe us to grapple with a little bit about here. Like, let's even put Charlie aside for a moment here. But like, I think it's worth asking ourselves this question. That, like, put aside the famous people, the politicians for a moment. I'm sure both of you guys have seen this sort of like, there's this like casual, I'm okay with like murder that like from people who would never commit murder, people who would never commit violence, they're completely okay with like someone in this kind of like abstract thought of theirs that someone that they disagree with just gets killed. And they're like, that guy kind of just had it coming to him. And that's fine. And this is, I'm not saying the right is not guilty of this as well in some regards, but this is a liberal left phenomenon. I guarantee both of you guys have seen this. Like some of the kindest people you might have ever met in your life, or you might have heard through the grapevine that they were, and like, in their own little, I heard like through some certain group text, some people talking, and I've seen some things people posted like, it's okay. Charlie got what was coming to him. And it's just like, what is that? Why are people just casually okay with it? Luigi Mangione, I kind of want to make a point here as well, Cap. Not to put you on the spot or anything, but I kind of made this point back when Luigi did what he did. And I was like, I don't know. I feel like this is fucked up that a lot of people are like, no, it's okay what he did just because I don't like the healthcare industry. And I tried to warn at the point, I'm like, yeah, but that's how like the Soviet Union started. We just started like executing people we don't like. And before you know it, things get spiraled completely out of control. A couple months later, Charlie Kirk is dead. I agree with you. I agree 100% with that notion. However, sometimes I try to think inward a little bit more, a little bit deeper as to why people do what they do, right? And if there's any choice or any chance to prevent them from doing certain things, you know what I mean? Just to get to understand, because I like to see other people's opinions, right? Like I want to see like why, like I want to get into the mind of like, why'd you do this? Right? Luigi, why'd you do this? Was it a problem with an insurance company policy that you went through? Was it a family member that was sick and, they denied your fucking claims or whatever? There's a lot of things, I just want to know and understand. And that doesn't mean it's okay or is right. It's just I need to understand, and then so that we can prevent that from happening, right? I mean, as a healthy society, that should be the thing. Like, how can we stop this? But no, right? No, like people are just gonna be like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I agree. He should have got murdered. And so back to your point about how you can be like, wow, really? People can really just be like, I can see why he got murdered. I had a conversation with one of my coworkers about 2 weeks ago, right? And it was a conversation about the Middle East, right? And I'm at the point where it's, man, I don't know, it's just me, but I got a soft spot for defenseless kids, okay? And women, people who can't defend themselves. I've always been like that my whole entire life. People who can't defend themselves. And to hear that 15,000 kids have gotten fucking killed in Gaza, that number is just absolutely fucking insane. And it really, really, that's one topic that really gets me going, and it gets me very angry. And I had this conversation and with a coworker, and he goes, well, sometimes maybe, it's just collateral. Sometimes maybe some things like that need to happen in order for good. And I go, let me stop you there.
if you agree with 15,000 kids getting murdered by getting killed and they had nothing to do, they just fucking got born in the wrong area, you're fucking evil. Straight up. And we can't have this discussion. Because if you want to have an actual adult discussion, a human being would be like, yeah, 15,000 is a little bit too much. We need to have a conversation here. But if you're saying that, hey, listen, maybe it's for a greater good, I can't stand by that. I just can't. That's just.
Well, that's why you be anti-war.
It's an evil mindset. It's an evil mindset, especially on that level, right? So, like you said, like how can you sit here and celebrate someone's death?
But
right?
I would push back because I could guarantee you that's how most people are thinking about Charlie Kirk, and that's why they're justifying to themselves that it's okay to just shoot him and kill him.
Yeah.
If to wrap up both of what you guys have been saying, it's mission creep. It's the slow erosion of society. It's society being wildly propagandized by mainstream media.
Yeah.
It is the left dehumanizing the right at every chance they get. Go back 25 years, September 11th, kicked off Operation Iraqi Freedom, weapons of mass destruction. The media told us don't like brown people, don't like Islam, don't like Muslims. For 20 years, we fought a war over there. We didn't see it. We didn't know what was going on. Just, well, you know what? These people deserve to die because what happened on 9/11. It completely justified, 9/11 justifies killing all these people during this war. Bring that home to our own shores. Donald Trump's a Nazi. He's spreading hate speech. We got to impeach him. Having CNN literally cut the president's speech just because they don't want their viewers to hear what's going on. Just this mission creep of this mind virus and the propaganda. We've eroded society to dangerously low levels that now every time you turn on, you log into Instagram, you see 6 people beating the shit out of another person. You see some homeless person getting stabbed. You see somebody getting carjacked, somebody getting pulled out of their car and shot because they or them or this secret society that runs all this shit has eroded our honor system, our mentality. There's no accountability. When you take away accountability, we are not bad people. The 3 of us in here right now are not bad people. In the matter that we don't rob anybody, we don't jump anyone, we never, you know what I'm saying?
We're good Christian boys.
Yeah. I wouldn't say law-abiding citizens, but we
I hit my tongue for a moment there. Yep.
He stopped. He was about to go with law-abiding. He was like, good people, good Christians.
But perfect example, put us in GTA. What do we do? Because now I get it, but there's no accountability in GTA.
Cat, you play games for what happened?
What? No. I'm
GTA?
making an example.
I know.
I'm sorry you don't like the example, but there's no accountability in GTA. And for the past several years, and especially over the past 4 years, we've gone soft on crime. We can't call somebody mentally unstable. Oh, there's too many people of a certain race being arrested. Those numbers aren't looking good. We need DEI. We need to fill these quotas, and we need to make sure that these numbers don't look so bad. A perfect example is the guy who stabbed the what's his name, Miles, whatever, who stabbed the Ukrainian girl, arrested 14 times, 16 times, wildly mentally unstable. But because liberals in these liberal cities have been brainwashed and propagandized to believe that every black person has been oppressed beyond belief, that this guy doesn't deserve just a second chance. He deserves 17 chances. He doesn't need medication. He doesn't need to be institutionalized. He needs to be able to walk free, and that will be the problem. And this is what you get when you allow these people to walk free. It doesn't matter what their race is. There's no more accountability. I have NYPD members in my family, and the stories they tell me, one of my cousins chased a suspect into a homeless shelter. They allowed the man to enter the homeless shelter, and then they denied the police entrance. And that was that. They got away. The police couldn't, and with all the power the NYPD has, the rules and regulations and the laws that these piss poor, soft on crime policies that lead to zero accountability. This bad guy, whatever he did, I don't remember. I really, for all I know, he could have stole a dime out of a dollar store, but he got away. There's no accountability.
It's like suicidal empathy, also, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're going to defend this guy who. All right, again, I don't know exactly what that guy did, but I'm sure he did something. If the cops are chasing him, he's running away, right? And we're actually going to defend the guy. Maybe he murdered somebody. I don't know. Let's open the doors to him and close it to the police and not do anything.
The police are the BLM. The whole BLM movement was to discredit the police, defund the police. We literally have places that have defunded the police, and crime is out of control. And they want to sit there and say, I don't know why, or just lie, like in Chicago, that there's no crime. It's great. Oh, DC, crime's down. Yeah. And shockingly, crime's at zero the second Trump stepped in and did what he wanted to do. We have been fooled. We've been propagandized. There's no more accountability. And when you start taking away these things, then you start getting these people acting in humane ways. Charlie got what he deserved. This, that, and the next. Because there's no accountability. And also, you don't see anybody get reprimanded. You don't see any justice. It's demoralizing. You could only become, us being us and being involved in this, we have an opinion on it. But most of these NPCs, they don't see justice. They don't read anything. All they read is the headline. So yeah, Charlie's a racist to them, whether they know it or not. But that's as far as this NPC went, is just reading a headline. They're so demoralized. They have no money. They are tricked into backing the wrong horse in the race. They don't care anymore. There's nothing left for these people. So yeah, somebody got stabbed on a bus. Somebody got stabbed on a train. It doesn't matter anymore. I got bigger issues to deal with. It's sad, and we've been led down the wrong path on purpose.
Can I jump in onto that scenario on the bus? The guy who had 16 prior arrests, not one, not two, not three, 16 prior arrests. So for something like that, and like you said, the word, and I think a lot of Americans right now are hooked on that word, accountability. In all aspects of everything in society, in government, in anything, is accountability, and that can lead to the Epstein list. That can lead to the 2008 financial crisis. That goes to right now in the bus situation. Accountability. Whoever decided to let that guy released 16 times is complicit with murder. That person, those people need to face the law because they are completely complicit.
If I can, it goes further up the chain, though. It goes further up. Yeah, the DA and the judge let that person off, but the state representative or the state official, and then the state representative, and then whoever, the senator, they all have, whatever is backing this operation of DEI and soft on crime policies, they are complicit in murder too. It goes all the way from your local judge to your House representative.
Yeah, the system is rotten to the core in a million different ways, right? And even on our show, just because Trump became president, I mean, we've spent the past, how long has he been president now? 7 months. The whole time almost criticizing every single
days,
criticizing almost every single thing he's done because we think it sucks. So that's the way things should be done. But just to go back to Charlie Kirk real quick, I think that's kind of what Charlie was doing. He was like a figure who was he wasn't violent, right? He was walking around and not walking around, but he was like hosting giant events and having people come to them and debate him. He was not a violent person. He was never like calling to violence or anything like that. I have a funny story. I actually kind of remember, not funny story, but you know, me personally, I probably am like an 80-20 in agreement with Charlie Kirk on most things, just around. Like I agree with him on probably 80% of whatever he has to say. Disagree with him on probably 20% of whatever he has to say. Part of that 20%, I will say, is part of whatever his view was of U.S. foreign policy towards Israel, right? Completely disagreed with him on that. I remember a few months ago, he had like the big Turning Point USA conference thing. And he invited Dave Smith to debate Avi, I forget the guy's name, Avi something, about Israel and all that stuff. And I remember was listening to Dave Smith's podcast after the debate was over. Dave likes to do like a recap of the debate. And so he's talking about the whole thing. And he's like, yeah, man, I was traveling, doing comedy shows the whole weekend. And I knew I was going to be exhausted on a red eye to get to where the Turning Point USA conference was. And when Charlie reached out to me and offered that I debate Avi, Dave was like, oh, I've done this debate a million times. I'm going to be exhausted. Kind of don't want to even do it. Charlie Kirk was like, you should probably come and do it, man. This is going to be a huge audience of young conservative people that you're going to like get to make your point to and try and convince and change their mind. Charlie Kirk and Dave Smith do not agree on Israel. But Charlie Kirk was insisting, Dave, this is a great opportunity for you to come make this point that I don't agree with pretty much. I want to make sure that I'm giving you that platform to come and make a point that I don't agree with. That's the kind of person Charlie Kirk was. Even if he didn't agree with your point, he'd go out of his way to make sure that you got a seat at the table to make it. Maybe even you might convince people that he's wrong, right? And you might take some of his own audience away, which if you actually watch that debate, Dave Smith definitely won over most of that audience, I would say, right?
And
that's the kind of person Charlie Kirk was.
And that's exactly why he was the target. He couldn't be any further on the opposite end of the spectrum of the propaganda machine. The propaganda machine doesn't want you to know you can agree to disagree. Doesn't want you to know that opposing views can be debated. We're always talking about how retarded people are when it comes to peace negotiations. Oh, you're sympathizing with Gaza. Oh, you're sympathizing with Putin. No, this is just what we need to do to end the war and get peace. Like they're so stupid. They don't know that you need to talk to your enemy. And if you just look at what the propaganda machine is and you just listen to what everything Skaggs just said, you could understand easily why Charlie was the target. Having somebody he doesn't agree with come on to debate. And the other reason, something that you said, Charlie was always talking to a young audience.
Yeah.
The left or the they, them, whatever, the deep state is nothing without the youth being radicalized on their side, because then the youth enters the workforce. They need all this DEI bullshit. They eventually find other like-minded individuals, have kids, and then they install that shit into them, and it's just a generational retardation.
Every evil totalitarian regime has some sort of program targeting the youth. Literally.
Yeah,
it happens
exactly.
every time.
And Charlie was one of the biggest faces that he could go into a college, and whether we saw it online, if people tweeted about it or not, I can promise you every place he ever went to, he had some type of a debate, and whether it was 101 people or one person woke up by the time he left. Or at least
again,
was
the
just
difference
like,
is,
oh my God.
So I could see some leftists watching what we just said and be like, yeah, but Charlie's doing the same thing. He's targeting children. Yeah, in a way where he is just trying to facilitate everyone getting a room together.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, and
he's
their points
targeting
and the marketplace of ideas and hash things out in a good way.
Yes, right. He is targeting the youth, but yeah, no, you explained that pretty well. I gotta say, no, because the idea is to make sure the youth doesn't talk. They make sure the youth doesn't think for themselves. We could always go back to Klaus Schwab. You will watch the porn, you will eat the bugs, you will live in the bubble, you will own nothing, and you will be happy. Govern me harder, daddy. That's an NPC. That's an NPC. If you sit there and you watch them, if you're willing to live in a bubble and own nothing and eat bugs, the last thing on your mind is like a debate. Just no, that person's wrong. Daddy Overlord said so. There's no questioning it.
Chris, but I know you're chomping at the bit there.
No, I was going to say about I don't even know what I was going to say, to be honest with you. But no, I agree. I agree with that. It's just it's just, you know, if we're gonna go with I'm speculating here, right? It's all alleged until it's
we could get into all that
until it's confirmed or whatever. But it's just funny because, yeah, like this guy, man, Charlie Kirk, was just not calling for violence, having an actual educational debate on college campuses where the goal is to have critical thinking and also have ideas, which could tend to be dangerous or non-dangerous. And the goal in these universities and these campuses are have these healthy debates between each other and have these ideas flow to whichever one people can agree with and move forward, right? That's the reason. That's the point of college. That's the point of any further education is to have an idea and confront those and have a healthy debate on how to, even in science, anything that has ever happened in science,
are the original
you also debate
innocent intentions that these things were created for.
Yeah,
I would say that they're really not anymore. How they're being used.
Yeah, my only disagreement with you, Chris, is that that's not the goal of these universities anymore. Right? When we went to college, when our parents went to college, yes, that was the goal.
Yeah.
Right now, currently, that is 100%
it's true. It's true. Now their goal is to turn people into like activists and support whatever they have decided as like an administration.
The erosion of society.
I'm just saying, like, whatever they've determined is good, that's what we have to do. We have to create more foot soldiers to go and fight this evil thing we've determined. It's not like what you're saying, where it's like we're going to be a place where there's like freedom of speech and we could be a marketplace of ideas and sit down and shake hands and talk and figure shit out. It's not what it is anymore.
The original intent was to have these debates where it's critical thinking, and then you have these ideas that you can present to other people, and you talk and you debate on these specific topics. Now, it is not that. After yesterday, I mean, bro, getting fucking murdered at a campus while you're speaking in an engagement is wild. That's just it on a college campus. Like, it's just a murder zone now. So now can I ask you guys a question? Because I would like to get into the nitty-gritty of this. So what does that look like in the future, right? Like, what does this look like in the future? Because now there's one or two things. Either conservative pundits or conservative politicians or anybody now, it's either you're gonna fucking fight with the fucking that hanging over your head on, you know, if I go to any of these, you know, these rallies or any of these debates, there's a potential chance I'm gonna get fucking offed, right? Which is a crazy mindset to have in the United States of America. That's first and foremost. Secondly, are people gonna just now be like, you know what? I'm just get scared and you know. Rightfully so, because if your life is on the line, you know, you have two choices. Either you're going to lean into that motherfucker, or you're going to be like, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to do this because, you know, my life's on the line. Right? It's a scary thought to even be had now in United States in 2025. It's just that's what blows my fucking mind.
That's what they wanted. Right now, no, we have to keep going. We have to keep fighting. We have to risk it all. As much as he has fallen, Ben Shapiro said he's going to continue his college campus tours. You know, maybe he'll show up in like the Pope Mobile with bulletproof windows. I know he's not a good example. He's just the only person,
the worst example, but yeah.
But he's the only one that I've seen that said he's still going to go ahead and do, you know, his college tours. The left has taught us to do one thing: double down. It's time for us to double down. We owe it to Charlie. The message cannot end. We cannot go home. We can't. if this is truly a turning point, and I really feel like it was, and I really feel like a line was crossed yesterday, full steam ahead.
Yeah,
Full steam ahead.
to answer your question though, Chris, like some people are going to rethink probably what they're doing, and some people are going to do what Chris is saying, and they're going to just continue doing what they're doing, right? I mean, with life inherently comes risk. You know, when the founding fathers signed a Declaration of Independence and told the king to go fuck himself, they knew, they knew that there was going to be some risk to what they were about to do. You know, but I was thinking about this too. You know, I mentioned Dave Smith before. I was fucking thinking about this too. He's influential. There are people in the political space who are influential and they become leaders, even if they don't want to, right? They then become a target, you know? And Dave is similar to Charlie. He's got young kids and a family, and he goes and does stand-up comedy tours. I hope somebody like that is like, now, you know, head on a swivel. Make sure you like, I'm not saying not to go do what you go and do, but like, be careful, you know, because it is possible there, you know, this is an act of terrorism in a sense. You know, maybe to like its truest
that's
form.
a valid point. Skaggs, that's a valid point, man. I feel like, how is this not terrorism? Domestic?
No,
terrorism?
it's like
it
the
has
truest
to be.
form of terrorism.
It's literally the form of terrorism. So that's a great question to ask. Then, like, at what point do you consider liberal extremists terrorists?
Again,
we're
still speculating.
Is a liberal,
right? We're still speculating.
We're
though, right?
speculating here, and it's all alleged because we don't know.
It's fine. We could speculate, but the gloves are off, boys. Enough dancing around the fuck. This is what I'm not.
Well, hold on. Before we're 41 minutes in, and we've speculated that's liberals. Let me real quick speculate the other side of what it could be, and I'm gonna just push back. I don't think it has anything to do with Israel. For once, I'm probably the biggest critic of Israel on this show. I just don't, because Charlie was one of the biggest Israel defenders that ever exist. Yes, recently he very, very mildly has started to like perhaps question the level of death in Gaza, very mildly. I do not think that they went and whacked their biggest supporter because he like just asked a very soft question about Gaza. So let's put Israel aside. I do think that there is a little bit of, I honestly do think there is some Israel derangement syndrome, you know, that comes as well with shit like this. Like people immediately want to go down that rabbit hole. And there are different groups of evil people in the world. Not everything is Israel, right? There are a lot of things that are Israel, but not everything is Israel. And when you go and do something like that, you then like discount the rest of us who are trying to make like good, strong, tight cases against a certain specific policy, like we just did in our last episode, Cap. I brought receipts over how the policy of Qatar hosting Hamas was Israel's strategy. Okay, but to put that aside, this actual assassination itself, I always think that sometimes, I've said this a million times, like the reaction to things are sometimes more interesting than the thing themselves, right? And like look at the reaction across a lot of the right wing. A lot of people are like, it's time to go to war. Fuck this. It's, you know, we've had enough, etc. Again, pump the brakes, right? It just seems so easy to fall into that, to then become exactly the monster that you think the other side is doing. You know, how easy would it be to manipulate everyone? Charlie is a perfect target to do that with, right? He was the kind guy just trying to talk to people, and you went and killed him, right? Of course, the natural human reaction of people who liked him is going to be to go up in arms, right? Again, you see how like the Palestinians feel when their people get killed or something like that, right? People in power, they understand that better than anyone. They understand that better than anyone. They know, hey, if I need to fucking spark off a civil war or some sort of, you know, distraction within the country, I can manipulate the fuck out of everyone by, you know, faking that it was a trans shooter that shot Charlie Kirk. And I know that this is the right moment. The place is a powder keg getting ready to go off. And we'll craft this entire thing. And we'll send an email to Steven Crowder, right? Basically, you know, we're leaking the information that it's a trans shooter. Now, I don't know. I'm just saying, right? If you've read Alinsky's Rules for Radicals, right? He says it in there. He's got that great fucking quote in there that the real action is the enemy's reaction. The enemy properly goaded and guided in his reaction will be your major strength. That's from Saul Alinsky. So I just want everyone to be mindful of that. I'm not saying it couldn't be a liberal, leftist, insane person. We just spent 40 minutes saying it probably was. I do think it probably was some random, psychopath murderer.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want everybody to be aware of the fact that this could be you all getting goaded into doing something else for some other reason. You're being manipulated.
It's definitely a fair point. My question to that, though, is there needs to be a line somewhere where, okay, so we don't go to war over this. We're not going to get goaded into some psyop.
I also don't think anyone's going to war. Again,
right? I really don't think so either. But let's just call it blood for blood, right? And I'm not saying we need to kill anybody. At what point is the line crossed and then we just have to become the monsters they think we are and squash our enemy?
That's the sort of line of thinking that creates October 7th, though. I think the right way to approach this is to just keep doing what Charlie Kirk was doing, like you were saying before, right? He is having open debate with young minds and shaping them and giving them the free marketplace of ideas, raising good children, win the culture. On top of the fact, man, I don't know, these liberal leftist types, they don't reproduce. If we just keep
thank God
steady and keep there's a resurgence in people.
They weed themselves out and they expand into those fringes of where, because I'll tell you what's going on right now. The good people with morals and ethics after yesterday realize what's going on. And for them to be on the fence as independents, or if they were Democrats, moderate Democrats, and they saw what happened, anybody who was morally or ethically inept and understood the severity of the tragedy, I think what that did was they woke up and said, "Hey, listen, whoa! I don't want my party doing this. This is not what I stand for." So what happens?
That's the silver lining.
You isolate those fucking lunatics to now where they're by themselves, right? And if you continue to do what because I just can't see myself promoting. I get what you're saying, man. Listen, I'm pissed off too, man. I'm pissed. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of the dude, but I taking someone's freedom of speech away by murdering someone. Oh man, that fucking grinds my gear heavy, and I can feel I'm angry too, bro. I'm angry too, but the best way to honor him is to do the same thing. And a bunch of Charlie Kirks were born yesterday. A massive movement is about to start, and I hope it's for.
I believe so. I really believe so.
I hope it's for the good. Now, if it goes to the bad,
I think too many. How can you blame people? I think too many. I agree, 100%. I think too many good people in the world are living apathetically. They're not living with purpose. They just kind of are bags floating through the wind. Right? Maybe something like this will get them to be like, I have to live with purpose. And what do I mean by live with purpose? I don't mean go and fight a war. This war that everyone's going to go to. No one's going to fucking war. It's cringe. It's people LARPing, right? I mean live a good life. Have fun, raise good children, pass on good morals, have friends, or surrounded by your family, build something. Stop just existing.
You said a word just before, Skaggs, Christianity. There's one thing I genuinely believe that has been removed from society. And if you look back just when our parents were growing up, Ortiz, Chris, I know your parents definitely were. Skaggs, I'm pretty sure your parents were. They were all Sunday church goers.
No,
right?
weren't.
No? Yeah, but they sent you to Catholic school, so I figured.
Sure.
Well, your grandma.
Well, yeah.
Your grandma go to church?
I know the point you're trying to make, and I think it's a great point because
what I'm saying is
my point. Good.
Yeah, as I've gotten older, and we had that talk with Andy Kuhn, and you've woken up and seen, you're not a born again Christian, nothing, but you've seen the value of God. Look back in the 50s, look at the Bible Belt and how people live. It's a different world because God is in their life. You come to a city, you come to a blue city, and this, I'm not even saying the shooter was blue. You go to a blue city, they are godless. church is the last thing on everybody's mind. God, religion, whatever religion it is, has been removed from the conversation, has been removed from education, has been removed from society. And I don't think at this point we've ever been further away from being one with God than we are right now as a society. And not that I'm going to start going to church every Sunday and stuff, but we need to become God-fearing religious people again to some extent. You're talking about a purpose. There's a purpose in a higher power, in believing in a higher power, that something that's not here is going to hold you accountable in the afterlife. We have completely removed that, and we're all guilty of it. None of us preach the word of God. None of us go to church. None of us sit here and pray all the time. We need to slowly start making our way back to God and religion, and I think we would see big changes, very big changes.
Yeah. I'm just gonna just add to that and a little bit of pushback, because I get what you're saying about God and religion and stuff, which is a great foundation for the fundamentals of being a good person in society, right? I understand that. Now, me personally, through my experiences in life, me and God have a very, very tough relationship. It's hard for me to. It's not that I don't believe in something. I believe there's something there, but I do have a very difficult relationship with God, whatever that is. I have a lot of unanswered questions that I'll never get. Right now, with that being said, I do believe that it is good for people to, be raised around, that type of ideology, because it is good. And before, this is like maybe 2 years ago, I had a conversation with my father one time about Catholicism. I've had a rough relationship with religion. And this is from someone I went through to Catholic school. I was an altar server. Can you believe it? I know, me either. I was an altar server.
Ringing the little bell. Ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding.
ringing the little bell. Did funerals, weddings, every Sunday mass. I know the mass from start to finish. So I was a good Christian boy, right? And there were some questions of inconsistencies that I found in religion that I had questions for. One of them being, why do kids have cancer? Right. So certain things like that. And I don't want to go deep into that type of, thought, but these are the things that I used to have in my head, questioning things. But what I will say is this, long story short, I will say this. The conversation I had with my father was a very pivotal moment in my life where we're talking about religion. And he had a good philosophy on this. And he said, the whole thing about religion was, it's all based about, especially Catholicism, is based around Jesus, right? And all Jesus was a good man. And that's all you need to be in life, is a good man. That's all it is. It's that simple. Just be a good human being. All right. Be there for your neighbors. Be there for your family. Don't murder people. Live good. Like, live a good life. Live a life of purpose. And it's true. I mean, and it's just kind of odd that, I'll go deeper with, Cap, I know you said God, right? But I also blame parents at this point about certain things. Yeah, it's about God, but I feel like a lot of these people have issues.
They went to the colleges, they got brainwashed, they met like-minded idiots, they reproduced, and
that was
they
the point
made
I was
bad
going to make
kids.
to you before, and don't we beat up on them all the time here, damn it. But the boomers, the 50s and whatnot, that was a time where people, did go to church and had sort of like some, faith. But then the generation after that, everything kind of fell apart. And that was kind of our parents' generation. Now, here we are, we're kind of tasked with fixing this mess.
Because
our generation of
it starts
people.
at the home. It starts at the home.
I mean, it
starts at the home, man. It really starts at the home. And you know what? If there is some faith behind it, any religion that you're promoting, that's even better. But it's parents bringing up members of society, right? You're raising the future of generations, right? So you have to instill these type of methods or these ideologies within your kids to be good humans and morals and ethics, and be like, this is what I presume to be good, and this is what I presume to be bad, and teach them these things, right? And that's just me on a I'm not a parent, I don't know, but that's how it'll be with my kids. Is I would want them, and also lead by example, lead by being a good man yourself or a good woman yourself, and have something that because I'll tell you what, man, I lost both my parents, right? I lost both my parents, and I always said, like, damn, man, like I can never be like them. But them being gone, I cannot tell you how much I changed into them by small things in life that I do now because of them, because I had that image of them in my head to do the right thing and be like them. And in the long run, it's gonna work out well for me, but I had that, and you're gonna get it with your kids, Skags, where they look at dad go into work, to provide for his family, and all these small little things that we never realized as a kid. But you'll look at your parents and be like, yeah, damn, like, all right, I'm the spitting image of these people. Mm-hmm. So it does the root core of some of these fucking people with all these mental disorders. They have issues because they just didn't have anything to they didn't have anybody there for them.
That's a huge portion of our society is like that, right? And I think that, to piggyback on everything you guys are saying, humans are hardwired to believe in something. And I've made this point a trillion times on this show, that if you go and push back against an atheist's belief system, they will fight you as if you are questioning their God, right? Because actually their religion is atheism, right? And no matter what you want to say, humans, if you don't believe in Jesus Christ or Islam or Judaism, you'll substitute some other thing into your mind to be your God. You might not think of it that way, but you do. Like, the woke
your
stuff
lack of a God is your
woke
God.
stuff. I mean, people. I made this point once when Kamala Harris and them were sitting around a table, and they started off their meeting by saying what they were. My name's Kamala Harris. I am a brown woman. She, her, with a suit on. I'm like, that's a fucking prayer. That's literally a prayer right before they started their meeting. Anyway, so it's not just humans are hardwired to believe in something. The question is what is it that they're following, or what is it that they're believing? And we have gone down we've spiraled out of control here now, where people are worshiping themselves or these weird egomaniac sort of belief structures, opposed to
they're worshiping the fact that a father of two was just murdered, and they are overjoyed by it because he said words that hurt their ears. That's where we're at.
Yeah, opposed to believing in, following the example of someone who was a leader. Jesus, like you said before, was just a good man. That's an excellent fucking example of someone that you should be trying to emulate. Jesus Christ. I love the way you put that before, Jamie. He was just a good dude. That your dad put that, right? That is the value of Christianity.
Because
and
if you look
at
religion,
go and read those stories. They're all fucking stories that you then form the way you behave in life, and they're all good stories,
Yeah, and that's the conversation, because we used to have these in-depth philosophical conversations with each other about anything and everything about life. And one of those that always stood out to me was the religion topic, because I didn't want to disappoint my parents for not being a practicing, Catholic boy, I don't go to church on Sundays. I feel like if I do go into church, it's kind of blasphemous, because in the Bible kind of says, you have to be, they forgive, but I kind of feel bad because I'm just in and out, man. I just have a rough relationship with just, God right now in general in my life.
I wouldn't. I mean, we just talked about Jesus, bro. I wouldn't worry about that. Jesus hung out with the worst people.
Yeah,
the worst people.
No, 100%.
Yeah, so again, going back to the example that was set.
So because it's he was forgiving, he was empathetic, he was understanding, right? He was just a fucking cool dude. But he even he said it too. He was the Indians, the Native Americans used to fucking worship the white buffalo. And that was their purpose. That was their God. And that all they did was just live for this, one thing. Now, I don't know how true that was or not, but it's true. It's like they have these belief systems, but if the belief systems are surrounded about just being good, like it's just, how can you not like understand that concept? And also too, sometimes people move the goalpost to fit their narratives.
Of course.
Well, that's all that happens.
That's all that's happening right now. That's literally all that's happening right now.
It's just moving goalposts and saying, you know what, I am a good person, right? They'll tell themselves I'm a good person. But yeah, I can just, I can see kids getting bombed, 15,000 of them, but it doesn't make me a bad person.
They all supported Ukraine until that girl got killed.
I can see this guy get murdered. This guy who never promoted violence. I can see him get murdered. He said a lot of fucked up shit, and he deserves it. But I'm not a bad person. I still go to work on Mondays. I work Monday to Friday. I'm still good. It's like, no, like that ideology is not good at all. Right, you have to condemn these things, and this is what we're missing in this country. It's just
we're not shaming these people enough.
Our principles are so. You know what, Catman? It's social media, bro. It's a very huge fucking like flammable igniter, dude.
Yeah.
Where it's just everything and anything. All these pundits, all these influencers go on. It's all about clicks. It's all about views. It's all about you can say whatever the fuck you want, and you're behind a keyboard and all that stuff. And there are some consequences, but it should never result in being violent or murder someone, right? But then again, you have people who take these words and just run with it, and all they want to do is just harm someone, which is, it's just kind of remarkable because it's also the internet.
Yeah.
You're always
one of the big
problems
with the internet is you could talk shit and not get smacked in the mouth for it.
That
changes a lot of people as you're growing up.
How about this? If you had a problem with Charlie Kirk and the things that he said, you don't have to fucking listen, right? You don't have to fucking engage in it. Right, but you do, right? Because you need that reason to fucking spark that like fucking fire that's in you. That
being
you have,
offended is your religion.
Like Skag says, there's no purpose. These people don't live a purposeful life.
Yeah,
right?
Their purpose is to be offended.
People are always seeking purpose, even if they don't realize it.
Exactly. So now they're looking for something to fulfill their needs.
Yeah,
to fulfill themselves, and this story and these narratives that they create in their mind, right? That they say it affects me personally, and I have to do something about this, which is also completely fucking nuts.
And
but
you look
people
for
out there like that
preconceived notion to be reconfirmed, right? I saw like I didn't even really want to like share too many examples of this shit, but like Stephen King posted, he was replying to something, and he goes, he advocating stoning gays to death. Just saying, like Stephen King said this, the famous author. No, he didn't. Charlie Kirk never said such a thing ever in his entire fucking life.
He's just a shell.
Yes, I'm just saying, like, yes, Charlie Kirk had some beliefs. He didn't believe in gay marriage. Yeah. He never advocated for stoning, but that's a perception everyone has in their mind, and then they sell themselves, and then people they respect or large audiences start repeating these things. And then, it spirals out of control. Go ahead, Gavin.
My favorite thing looking on X is everybody talking about, well, this is why we need sensible gun control. They all of a sudden, this became such a big Second Amendment. First off, it was a hired hitman with a rifle, most likely. Whether it was a left-wing liberal or not, this was a professional if it's the guy from the rooftop. And you know what, though? I finally agree. We do need sensible gun laws. Forget transgender people not being allowed to have guns, because they do end up doing most of the school shootings. If you're a registered Democrat, you should not be allowed to get a gun. Your party is now way too violent. Your guys' obsession with death and murdering and hurting people who don't believe in what you believe in has radicalized you. And you guys, we need sensible gun control. So no guns for Democrats. That's my new policy.
Fair enough, Captain. I just disagree. I'll make the point, maybe the last point about Charlie Kirk. Another thing I saw people saying that he previously had said that, like, supporting the Second Amendment, like, is going to cause some people to die. Then them citing that as like a ha. See, he got killed. Yeah. He wasn't advocating ever that we kill anyone. Right? It's not that, like, how dumb could you be that you misunderstand the point?
Or just the simple fact of how many countries don't have a Second Amendment, and people still get shot and killed every day.
You know what it is?
Right,
They're blanketing their feelings, their actual feelings, because they don't want to say, well, you know, that sucks.
I'm glad he got shot.
I'm glad he got shot and killed. They blanketed it over with like, look at this. Like, it's like, come on. Like, really? Are we gonna really play that game? Like, he's not out here, you know. Cap, the whole gun thing, dude, that spirals me out of control, bro. Because that was a couple of hours. That was a couple of hours right after this fucking kid got killed, bro. Like, you're gonna use
moments.
Bro, you're gonna use that excuse to be like, now is a perfect time to talk about gun control and gun violence.
That's what everyone's doing. I mean, Netanyahu literally made this video today about how Charlie was the best supporter of Israel and this, that, and whatever. It's like, you know, and I mean, like, could you just not for a day? Yeah. It's just been a day. Just let it go.
Yeah.
You know, like, just give us our moment here. You know, for once, I'm not even trying to go that route and criticize Israel, but the guy's got to insert himself back into the picture. I saw Rabbi Shmuley also started a GoFundMe. Well, it was me. You need to give me a money because I was Charlie Kirk's friend. It's like, my goodness, man.
But
that's I don't hate the Jews or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying.
This guy is going around, you know, I don't even want to, that's a different topic.
Yeah,
like
I know.
said, I'm taking a break. I'm taking a break from that because, like, we have our own internal shit we got to worry about right now. And all I worried about is this fucking country. I ain't worried about no foreign countries right now. I can give two fucks about them as much as, like, yeah, like, you know, what's happening in Gaza is a fucking sin. Right now, like, this guy is trying to incorporate himself in every day-to-day American fucking current events as if he, like, you're like, dude, you're running your own nation. Aren't you supposedly at war with fucking 8 different nations? You have nothing to worry about. You're just going to keep worrying about the United States.
Well, when you own the White House, you can
because you need the
like
approval. Because listen, Benjamin Netanyahu is a smart motherfucker. As much as, like, I gotta say, he is very smart. He knows what he's doing. His propaganda machine is fucking unbelievable, dude. Like, they're doing all this because there's a purpose. You win the souls and minds of the American people, and that's their funding.
Propaganda is important.
They're just smart with what they're doing, right? And some people just don't notice that. They just, you know, like, you know, whatever. But yeah, Benjamin Netanyahu, like, whatever. But the whole firearms situation and the whole, you know, gun control and stuff, it's really remarkable that, like, that's the thing that you're using for this guy, instead of just saying, like, hey, this is kind of wrong, this is fucked up, like, this is kind of, like, senseless to do.
But
this
the people
who
make these points are not human. We do not shame them enough. That's the problem. They have been in power for too long. They've held the ring for too long, and it is time to shame them.
Cap,
flip some tables.
What I feel and what I think,
metaphorically speaking.
Yeah. Well, what I feel and what I think is about to happen, and I really hope it doesn't. But if you thought the extreme left is fucking, like, out of their minds, the extreme right is going to be fucking nuts. This is
but there is really no extreme right.
I don't agree.
I really don't feel there is an extreme right.
Well, there's always opposites of both.
Well, yes. There. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some Confederate Yahoo that, you know, is
those Confederate Yahoos. Look what happened in Illinois, bro, when the guy was saying, you know, fuck, you know, Charlie Kirk, and he got his ass beat. I'm just saying, this is about to start. This is going to happen. Yeah. Anytime these movements happen in the cities, you think there's not going to be met with counter protests and they're going to start fucking fist fighting or killing each other on the streets?
No,
you don't think so? Okay.
If the roles were reversed, if a black girl got stabbed on a bus by a white man, North Carolina would have burned. If a liberal debater, or whatever the hell you wanted to call Charlie Kirk, whatever his title would have been, was shot and assassinated, it would be the streets would be ablaze. There is no extreme right. We are going to continue to see left-wing extremism in the manner that we are for one simple reason. And it's also the reason why Charlie got shot or assassinated. We are winning. We are winning this culture war. The left is so bad at everything they do. They don't even have. Yesterday, they lost the fake moral high ground that they lied they were standing on to begin with. I know that's
Yeah, it's
like
a good. No, it's a
word
good
salad,
point. Yeah, yeah.
but like
No, it makes perfect sense.
they never had the moral high ground. They only made you believe they had it, and yesterday they lost it. And they are going to get more and more extreme and louder and angrier and more violent the more we win. The more we wake up, they are going to start feeling alone. The walls are going to be closing in. There was something Q always said, and I'm not bringing Q into this assassination. There was nothing about that. But it was something called like the death rattle, where it's like when an animal is wounded and right before it's about to die, that's when its most loud and vicious behavior will come out of it. Right. It'll give you the death rattle, one last fight before they die. And we are at the death rattle.
And let's also go back to the point. Let's tie it up on this again. The point I made before: Alinsky's rules for radicals. Right? If you are in a shitty, again, what was Hamas's strategy on October 7th? The reaction. Right? They were not going to beat Israel in a one-off attack. It was the reaction. Let's overprovoke them. Let's get them to go genocidal against our own people. We don't care about our own people, right? We're sitting pretty in Qatar, right? And then we'll get maybe the other Arab nations to come in and put us in power or something like that, right? That's how we can win the war, right? When you're losing, you need to do something like this. Get the other side to overplay their hand and do some heinous shit, right? And then look, you see, they are the fucking evil fascist Nazis we said they were this whole time. You know, and now this is some justification for us to wield the ring of power against everyone and bring communism or whatever.
Isn't that
delusion of grandeur they're going to have? So again, I agree. I think like the answer or the successful strategy, all this is to just be like stubborn and just keep winning, like slowly and surely. It's a slow burn. Right? We're going to fucking win in the long term. Just be slow and stubborn. Steady wins the race. You know, don't do anything, heinous or crazy. Do anything that these losers would fucking do, because then it's going to flip the whole thing back on your head.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem. If they're ever and I'm sorry to have jumped on you, Chris, with saying there's no right-wing extremists, but if there was, like, that would be the worst thing to happen to the Republican Party. If some MAGA hat wearing nut job showed up and started gunning people down.
Yeah.
Because then they would go, there's the Nazis. The Nazis are marching down the street.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying like, MAGA hat wearing. I'm saying more of, Aryan race brotherhood, right? They tend to lean more Republican and conservative than I could never see them becoming a Democrat or liberal. No, but I'm saying I can never see them become liberal, because majority of the liberal base is good majority of them are minorities. So like that to them, they can't, even conceive. So there are these fringe groups within the Conservative Party that are extremes, not like they're going out there and doing crazy shit, burning down places and stuff. But what I'm saying is can we be honest here? Do you think that what happened yesterday, that people didn't become radicalized on the conservative side?
I think they think they've become radicalized, but they don't even know what the fuck radicalized means. I think what happened is they're just really upset and emotional and angry. I can start, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. That's literally what people are just doing right now. Right now, a couple days are going to go by. SmackDown's going to happen tomorrow.
I don't know.
And there's got a baseball game. Trump said
I was thinking just that.
Life moves on. People will calm down.
In a month, it won't even be at the forefront of our heads anymore.
If it was your children, yes, you're gonna fucking go jihadist on people. I don't see people. And look, I'm not saying people don't love Charlie Kirk and they don't feel awful. They're not angry or emotional. People are not going to go suicide bomb anyone.
No. I'm not saying.
You know who would go and do that? Like an agent provocateur. Someone who, again, like,
I can see that
powers
happening.
that want to keep this thing going. They want to keep escalation.
But you don't think
at the moment? I don't think we're at that point for like a normal republic.
But you don't think that at all. There's no eye to eye mentality right now.
Yes, because I want it in the worst way.
I mean, but you would never do that, right? I mean, get to that level. but there possibly could be somebody from yesterday that's going to be like, well, eye for a fucking eye.
Yeah, blood for blood.
Now it's game on. You took one of ours, I'm taking one of yours, and that's a possibility. To say that's not a possibility and being like, well, those people
you guys,
don't exist.
but Cav, you proved my point. Like that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people are saying, like, yeah, eye for an eye.
I have my.
Are you going to go
opinion.
pluck
I'm
someone's
angry.
eye out? Are you going to go find some leftist person and go pluck their eye out? No, you're not. Right? You're just upset. You're angry.
Oh, yeah.
Rightfully so.
Cap, be careful what
Rightfully
you're
so.
saying, because YouTube will nuke this whole channel.
Yep.
No, again, I understand. I
It's
understand why
right
people
now.
are saying
Everybody's
that.
just acting out of
Angry.
anger too. Yeah.
I'm just
And I
trying.
understand
I'm trying to
that.
throw cold water in people's face, and like, I don't think you guys. You're just upset. You're emotional. You don't actually even understand what it is you're saying. You're not going to go and do any of those things.
No,
I know you're
I'm
not. I know majority of people.
Nobody here is. I'm saying there is a possibility that
Yeah,
there
there's
is
there's
someone
always-
out there, not
there's
us,
always a
not the three of us.
possibility.
I'm saying that there in general, in a broad stroke, that there are people out there that would go out and do something heinous in retaliation to what happened yesterday. And that's definitely something that is on the table. And to say that a Democratic, politician, because a politician could possibly be next, or a pundit could be next, an influencer could be next, any excuse for them to get their lick back, that's a possibility.
Yes,
right? And to say that
it's
not, it's like, that's how fed up people have become, is that now they're going to go tit for tat. And that's another scary thing too, is now you have these Democratic politicians or these other, also too, I like to get into this about the subculture, which is what we do on the internet, is a subculture. It's not the primary, but what about the streamers, the liberal streamers have to now worry, right? They have to now worry about what they're doing, like Hassan, dude, when you share that shit with Destiny,
Yeah,
bro,
Destiny is the worst kind of person.
These dudes are playing with fucking fire, dude, and it's just like
Hassan, to his credit, said a couple this is crazy. Said a couple nice things about Charlie Kirk.
Okay,
Destiny is on another level of.
Let's not.
Destiny's kind of like the Joker. He's just some sort of.
He's
figure
playing
like
a
that.
sick fucking game. He's playing a sick
and
fucking game of his life.
I'm not them. I don't wish harm on any of these guys.
No, absolutely not. We're not like that,
yeah.
But I'm saying in conversation about what's happening, and you think he doesn't know what he's doing? He leans into that.
Right.
Shit.
That's what I'm saying. I think even people.
Well, that's his bread and butter at this point.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think people like him are even not even serious about what they're actually saying. Like, is Destiny gonna, what is it? He's probably just saying that shit to be provocative. And, to keep his
engagement farming,
right?
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah, it's all very unhealthy, though, in the grand scheme of things.
But now, after yesterday, they have to, now consider that, oh, this is fuck around, find out. Now it's like,
I don't even think ideas like that cross people's minds. People like that, I don't even think they are touchable. I truly believe they are so sick they believe they are untouchable. I really
generally, some of them probably yes, some of them probably no.
Yeah.
Well, how about this? How about now? If
Hassan did think that way, and he was trying to be like, actually, no, this isn't a good thing. What's going on? But Destiny seems to be, like I said, the Joker. So.
Yeah, my thing is what I also said with the generalization about
Sorry, Cap. I know you. Sorry, I know Cap.
I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Jamie could talk. Jamie and I could talk streaming drama, gossip all day long. But
and I got another 12 hours for the next.
You want to jump off, Cap, and Jamie and I will wrap up. It's fine.
Goodbye, everybody.
Yeah. All right, Cap. Love you.
Sorry, Jamie. I know he's tired. He had a long day.
Love you.
Yeah. What were we saying before?
No, I was saying, so with the generalization of having, people, going tit for tat, one for one, eye for an eye and stuff like that, which is definitely a huge possibility and that could happen. My concern is, and what I worry about in this nation right now is that have all these protests and now counter protests pop up. And that is definitely a possibility too. Let's say, there's my perfect example was the Charlie Kirk vigil in Illinois, where a guy came and just started going crazy. Now people are throwing hands, bro. And I've never seen that on the right before, besides, January 6th. But,
think about that scenario, though. I know what you're talking about. I mean, that's a vigil.
Provoked. It was provoked. Yeah,
imagine
it was
if someone, I don't know, imagine if someone, like, it's not a funeral per se, but imagine if like you had a funeral for your family member and then somebody that didn't like your family member showed up at the funeral and said, saying, fuck your family member.
Yeah,
I'm going to probably,
yeah.
right. That's
Yeah, we're
not
swinging.
that's kind of similar to what exactly the person shooting Charlie Kirk in general was trying to do, like provoke the crowd into anger, but it's not a protest,
No,
it's like people are constantly it's poking of the bear, and they're trying to get the bear. I don't know who, I don't know why per se. I just think that there is an element of someone's trying to poke the bear, and get.
What about these standing militias that actually exist too? And that's another thing to consider as well. Is militia groups that do exist in certain states. You know what I mean? That's another, thing that to think about as well, because, most of those militia groups obviously tend to be more conservative than liberal groups. I mean, Antifa, they consider themselves a militia or a military, whatever the fuck that is. You know what I mean? So there are things in place that, like, people are just fed up,
I know.
That they would. I'm not saying that they're gonna or they would, but there is a potential of that, this being a spark where people are like, yo, I've had enough. This is it. Balls to the wall.
I'm not saying that there's always, of course, any sort of percentage chance that something like that could happen. I just thought we had the greatest litmus test of all time, though, which was COVID, and no one did a fucking thing, right? Damn it, I actually just closed it out because I thought we were going to completely get off. But one of the things I was thinking about showing or bringing up was an old Michael Malice tweet that he reshared the other day when this whole thing happened. And it's kind of is related to what we're talking. Wrong thing I've opened up. It's kind of related to what we're talking about here. Just give me a moment. I'll bring it back up. Damn, I keep opening. I keep opening a different doc. That's us planning Captain's bachelor party, and I keep opening that one instead of the one I'm trying to open. But I almost got it here. Hold on one second.
Tex said if someone rolled up at a family member's funeral and started talking mess, I'm throwing hands. I mean, obviously, that's
So Michael Malice yesterday said, of all the things I've ever said, this is the one I most wish I had gotten wrong. And this is from back September 1st, 2020, where Michael Malice said, whether by intent or by accident, Portland and the lockdowns are providing some very evil people some very useful information about what the limits are to American submission. What would it take for Americans to use force, whether said force would be regarded as legitimate? So I think that kind of just points to what you're saying here. It already happened and nobody did a fucking thing about it, So I think the most likely outcome / scenario is the slow burn of time and retaking of culture the hard way, the stubborn way.
Which I want, right? Which I would say you would want as a hopeful, violence is never the answer of force.
So I'm not just saying that that's what I want. I'm saying that I think that's what's going to happen.
Okay. I mean,
that doesn't mean that there won't be any instance of right-wing violence or something like that. Again, maybe all the people who are on saber rattling on Twitter right now are full of shit. Majority of them. None of them are going to war over Charlie.
You have a couple of like huge influential people that are like, enough is enough. This is where we draw the line, type of thing. So now, look at that. That's cool. Maybe it's just the Thomas Jefferson in me, honestly, the way that, he thought and how, he presumes people to be, when people, tend to get desperate. It's, if things are not changing, people tend to, out of desperation, go towards violence and hurting other people because there is no other way, type of thing. Obviously, I don't want to see that, especially in this country, with my countrymen, because we already went through a civil war where we lost the most Americans ever in any war. So with that being said, it's I don't want to see it happen, but I wouldn't be surprised, dude. I wouldn't be surprised in the next coming weeks or months or a year that shit start to play out where it's just like, this might be the actual igniter that people needed to just give them a fucking excuse to just go balls to the wall and just go crazy, just out of desperation and people not being heard. And because you have to also think about Charlie Kirk. He was a very influential person, man. He had the fucking youth, dog. He was loved. It wasn't like he was just like a Joe Schmo. No, this dude helped Trump get elected, man.
Yeah.
So to say like he doesn't, you know, his followers and stuff like that, and you have, you know, someone that, you know, loved this guy and changed, you know, their life changed because of him, and now, you know, to see what happened to him. Oh man, I mean, what the fuck? Like, you know, like it's just you know, I just hope it doesn't go into that direction. But I just don't see how this could be a slow burn, especially with the things that have happened and the events that we've lived through all these years. And a perfect example you said was the COVID lockdowns in 2020, that nothing happened then. But these are all now factors within the same conversation.
Yeah, that's a good point, right?
There's all factors that lead up.
Given,
there's all these,
right, like we
there's all these
that
frustrations that have lead up, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
it's
that
a slow boil.
Yeah, a slow boil that then potentially could lead into an absolute, you know, mayhem and carnage, which, you know, like I said, I don't want to see in this country, and especially against, you know, our country people. And it's just, you know, this all could have been avoided, man. It's just nobody deserves any of this, you know. And I you know, Destiny would have deserved that, you know, Hassan wouldn't have deserved that, and I don't agree with any of what those guys say, you know, but I would never wish harm and stuff like that. And it's just really interesting to see where we are as a society and as a country. We are literally the most divided I've ever seen, bro. And that's why I posted up on my Instagram story, especially today. It's like, you know, what I would, I mean, it had to take a fucking tragedy, but what I would do for September 13th or September 12th, in 2001, where literally Americans were fucking neighborly, they were kind, there was no Republican or Democrat. Everybody came together in solidarity as human beings to mourn as a nation, as a fucking nation. That you go anywhere in this country, in the United States, any law enforcement, firefighters, they all on September 11th till this day, you know, pay respect to the actual day and what it does, the meaning and significance of that day. And man, yeah, that day after September 11th, man, I'll never forget that shit, man. Even following September 11th, I mean, people were just like proud to be fucking American. They were proud to be in this country, and all that political shit didn't matter at that point. It was just humans being there for other humans that happened to live in the same country. And that was just very beautiful to see. And to go, we're about to hit, 24-year mark, about to be hit 25th, and we are the most divided in that short of a period.
I think we said it's beautiful, and I 100% agree with you. But like, what did our government go and do with all that goodwill that the American people gave them? Right? They went and launched wars of aggression around the world, got millions of people killed, our own soldiers killed, PTSD, bankrupted us, social division,
and this is all the factors, man. This is all the factors, and this is on both sides, right? This is on both sides. Every side has their factor incorporated into the way they feel and how they want to react to certain things. So those are definitely things to be considered. But you know, it's to take it to an extreme level, you know, because dude, we're supposed to be better than that, bro. Like, we're supposed to be better than this. We're supposed to stand out. You know, we're supposed to be the nation of democracy that other nations look to us and go, damn, bro, what the fuck is going on over there? Because we're no better than Russia. That we're no better than China, because they take out their opposition. They fucking do whatever it takes to, you know, silence people. You know, there really is no freedom of speech. And as much as, like, you know, as much as, you know, that's basically what kind of got me going, was that you silenced the man for speaking out about his opinions and beliefs. And, you know, it's like, you know, like other places don't allow, you know, that level of free speech of you can go
that is
around,
actually
you know?
the norm elsewhere. You say something people don't like, and they'll just fucking kill you, you know? But it's usually even more different, because like usually someone in somewhere else that's saying something you don't like is actually saying like, we should kill you, and then you go and kill him first.
Yeah.
And that's not what Charlie Kirk was doing.
No,
It's just not.
no,
Right?
it's not. No,
He was basically saying like, this is the religion I believe in, and this is kind of how I think culture should be. What is it, and here and now go ahead, make your point to me why I'm wrong, or what do you think it is you should do?
that's
or et cetera, et cetera. It's right. You know what I mean?
Because one person came up was like, I don't like you. And he goes, why don't you like me? Because you say a lot of racist stuff. And the guy turns around and he goes, no, come back. Can you tell me what I said was racist? No, I just know that you say a lot of racist stuff. And he's like, can you please explain to me what I've said is racist, and let's enter this conversation? Because I want to know. I know what I've said. So what is it that I said that was racist? No, but you come in here and you agitate, college kids, college, students, and you say a lot of hateful things and racist stuff. He's like, please elaborate, and just walks away. And he goes, that right there is the liberal mentality. They want to say this, and that. But when I debate them and I ask them, where's your proof? I hate you because I hate you. I hate you because other people that I listen to or I watch hate you. And that's another thing too. That's another good point.
It's also so just lazy, and like you rob everyone of a good discussion. Like when Dave Smith went and debated Avi about Israel policy, and you had two opposing point of views that Charlie Kirk was hosting, it was fucking awesome, right? Like. Of course, I go in there like, this is my guy, Dave. I agree with him on literally almost everything. But I also kind of want to see what the other side has to do and go up against our arguments. When you do that, when you're like, fuck you, I just don't like you. I have no reasons really why. I have no specific
Here's my favorite one
argument.
Here's my favorite one.
So just,
Here's my favorite one. But have you been there? Have you actually seen the things that I've seen?
Yeah.
Have you been there? If you haven't been there, then don't talk about it. But it's like, where's the facts? Like, what are you talking about? Like, what's your counter argument?
Yeah, let's be real. It's not limited to just, leftist college students. Douglas Murray is not a leftist college student.
I mean,
he deploys a certain,
pretentious fucking like this, like, condescending, aura and this vibrance about him.
Well, you know what he is, right? He's an English major, right? So like an English teacher. So.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, but then it's like, and then Dave Smith being Dave Smith, man, you gotta love it. He's just like, I don't have to be somewhere to look at somebody getting blown the fuck up.
Right.
Like I don't have to be there. I don't have to live there to see what's going on. I don't have to be there. I can read articles and all these documents that are public access. You know what I mean? So it's like the same mentality. It's like you label someone without facts, and and that's what Charlie Kirk did, man.
You debate the person. You never debate the issue. The thing, right?
Isn't that crazy to think about?
And a lot of people do that without realizing that's what they do. And I think maybe somebody like Douglas Murray does know what he's doing, but I'll give some grace to college students. I don't think they know that's what they're doing. It's like, right?
It's like a kind of personal vendetta.
Take on the arguments, whatever they are.
Example, like Charlie Kirk, because Charlie Kirk wasn't. He didn't have a diploma. He wasn't. He didn't have a degree. He just went to college campuses, and another person was like, "Why are you here? Who are you? Do you even have a college diploma, a college degree?" And he's like, "No, I don't. But like, why can't I be here to talk and like push back on ideas? Isn't this what this campus is supposed to be about? Is to talk about ideas?" And it was a great point. And he's like, "I don't need a college degree or diploma to just come here and talk and debate ideas with you, because this is where critical thinking should exist, and people should have a healthy discussion and a healthy debate." And and they were like, "Well, if you don't have a college degree, like you're not successful." And he's like, "What are you talking about? Like, I'm not successful. I have a lot of money. I've started this business at 18 years old. Like I don't need a degree." He's like, "These degrees that you're getting are fucking useless." And then when you go further on to the debate, and you're like, "Yeah, like what the fuck?" And he's like, "But you listen to your professor, right? Like you're here, it's like you listen to your professors about ideas." And it's the same thing, but because he has a degree, it's like you don't want to spar with me, because that's the word. That's a great word to use, is sparring, right? You're in the fucking octagon together, and it's whose idea Just go back and forth. That's what a healthy discussion should look like.
Some people
anything.
will, but yeah, this whole thing of people just shutting you down or calling you a name or whatever, like there's in the opening intro of the show now, I put that little tiny clip of us with Scott Horton, where we were talking about Gaza, and I was just making the point generally that like I don't think it's America first to set the conditions that lead to terrorism against America, and I was talking about Gaza. And I've tried to make that point a million times, like to the MAGA audience, like put aside your feelings for like Palestine versus Israel. What I'm trying to say is that like if we deploy a foreign policy of support, giving weapons and money to one side of this thing, who then goes and kills another side of this thing, the other side is then going to view us as responsible, and they're going to look to take out vengeance on random American people. Now, take on the argument, please, as to how supporting that policy is in my interest, because there is a risk. There is a possibility of blowback, right, from supporting Israel doing whatever they're doing to Palestinians. Can you explain to me, can you take on my argument? How is that in me, Mr. Average Joe American guy? How is it in my interest to possibly feel the blowback from some Palestinian, which they never have even done really towards Americans anyway. Yeah. But like, how is it in my interest to risk that?
Yeah.
Instead, you get, you hate Jewish people. You just hate Israel or whatever. I'm like, oh my God. No, like take on the argument I'm trying to make. It has nothing to do with any of that shit. I'm not even saying I'm like, again, I'm not even, I'm not like one of these leftists that are like, gays for Gaza or something like that. I'm making an America first argument. Please explain to me how pissing people off around the world is an America first thing.
It's just common sense.
No one takes on that argument.
Yeah.
It's fucking infuriating sometimes, man. It really is. But I think it's a good point to wrap it up.
Yep.
I know it's getting late here. It's a little bit of a late start for the two men. But Jimbo, shout out your channels. Thanks for coming, man. A little bit of a heavy topic, but yeah,
no, thanks for having me.
We were all kind of feeling it. We had to get it off our chest.
No, I appreciate you having me, but like you said, like it's very heavy. I was very angry yesterday when all of that was going down, and I've never felt like just completely disappointed as where we are in this country right now, currently with the climate being so fucking high politically, and to lose someone like Charlie Kirk at 31 years old. Who had the potential to run for the president of the United States.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, he probably would have been president.
It's the potential that he had behind him in his future, and for someone to cut that short, it's really fucking sad, and it makes me very, very angry. But these conversations need to be had, and people need to listen to calmer voices. Reason. Be reasonable and really have in-depth conversations about where we're at in this country as a society, as human beings. And I think either, I hope the end result after yesterday is that everybody starts to realize human decency and actually come to terms with, the idea of like, what? Nobody needs to die for having different opinions when it comes to politics, and stop stop sensualizing. I don't know if I said that right. I just fucking tongue
sensationalizing.
Yes, sensationalizing politics as if it's a fucking reality TV show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all very unhealthy.
I feel that's not healthy, and when these things, because a lot of people have very strong feelings for what they believe in and what their truths are, because everybody's different in this world. And everybody's opinions and everybody's ideas are all different. But, when you marry an idea, and you hear someone, counter that and all that stuff, and you want to jump the gun, it's just, social media, involved. It's just not it's just a recipe for disaster. But yesterday, at the end of the day, with him being murdered, man, it's just like you created a martyr at the end of the day. You created that Martin Luther King figure. It's the same type of thing. It's just the same, like, someone who just meant good, was trying to do good, loved this country, and tried to be the best he could and try to, shape the minds of young America. And you fucking murdered him. You murdered a father, a good husband, and you took that away from his family. It's just, how can you not be fucking enraged with that, on a human fucking level? It's just, and hopefully, cooler heads will prevail, and maybe we can start making some real changes in this country. And maybe Charlie Kirk's death had to happen to shine a light in the future, honestly. And I as much as I just despise what happened yesterday, sometimes in life, in anything, there's lessons, right? And that's the mindset that I have, is I hope that, his death is a lesson to be more understanding and compassionate towards each other. And hopefully things can simmer down, honestly. And that's what I hope. But I appreciate you having me on. Love you guys.
Yeah, man. No problem. Yeah, like a checkpoint in a larger journey towards everything being a little bit less doomed. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect way to put it.
All right, everybody. Definitely a bit of a somber mood, but keep Charlie, I guess, in your prayers and his family particularly. Life continues.
Rest in peace.
Captain and I will be back tomorrow doing wrestling stuff. You was talking about before politics, and yeah, like if you want, go watch wrestling. If you want like some fake drama that you want to get all worked up about, it's harmless,
I do fake drama on GTRP. I love it, and it just doesn't exist. After it's over with, it's done.
Right.
It's poof. It's man, Skaggs, man, I know we both love this country, bro, and I really hope that we make it out of this, at the end of it, and everything starts to change, honestly. Because if not, it's going to get a lot uglier, and I hope it doesn't get there, man, because I really do love this country and the fundamentals,
Likewise. Ditto. All right, everyone. Have a good night.
Later.